driven by community. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Driven by Community, a Modo car share podcast. This month is Earth Month, and we're focusing on all things green and sustainable. First, we talked to Anna from Food Stash Foundation about how their programs divert food waste from landfills so they're able to rescue perfectly good food and bring it back into the community. Next, we have on Esme, who sits down with us to discuss her experiences being a Green Modo member. We'll explain what a Green member is and how that played a role in her learning to drive. Finally, we have an incoming voice note from board member Atia, who explains the importance of voting in our board elections and attending the AGM for the overall sustainability of our cooperative. Thanks for tuning in, and let's jump right into it.
Hi there, I'm Jane, Director of the Marketing and Communications Department at Modo. I am thrilled today to welcome Anna from Food Stash, a longtime partner of Modo's, and certainly a very inspiring force in our community. Anna, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi there, my name is Anna. I'm the communications specialist at Food Stash Foundation. And yeah, we've been partners with Modo for many years now, and they've helped us many times when we've been in a pinch and a car has broken down or a truck has broken down. We get a Modo and we can still pick up the food.
Yeah. For the listeners who might not know, what is Food Stash?
Yeah, so Food Stash is a food rescue organization. So we work with grocery stores and wholesalers and sometimes farms to pick up food that would be going to waste. So they can't sell it for some reason. Maybe it's a physical, like it looks funny, or maybe they over ordered, or it's approaching the best before date. Food Stash comes in and we pick up that food and then we redistribute it throughout the city.
And so can you just take us into that process a little bit more? How does food move from so-called surplus food to someone's table?
Of course, it's a lengthy process, but we have drivers on the road 7 days a week. And so they are going to our different grocery store partners. They are picking up different food from them. Like I said, maybe it's approaching the best before date, has some bruises, they've over-ordered lemons. We're picking up that food, and then we're delivering it directly to our community partners. And so these are organizations in the city that have different missions. They may be housing, maybe they have food program like community meals. It could be a church, and so we deliver food to them, and they can use the food however they see fit. And they oftentimes have different types of food they're looking for. Like these organizations may have kitchen facilities, and so they want, peppers and protein, and so they can actually make a meal, whereas some places only have community fridges, and so they want prepared sandwiches and, donuts or an apple, something people can grab quickly and eat right on the spot. And then from there, we bring back food to our warehouse. We have 2 in-house programs. And so we have a rescued food box program, which is a weekly delivery box for people that are low income and living with a disability. And so that's fresh food delivered directly to their door. These boxes are customized. So you can say, I don't like red peppers and I only eat green peppers and I want to have chicken and not beef. And we make sure that happens for you so that you eat the food that you're getting. And then our last program is our market program, which is on Thursdays in our warehouse. We have a grocery store shopping experience, and it's meant to be, for anyone to come by to grab the food they need. It is supposed to be just low barrier and focused on choice. So you can take what you want and leave what you want. It is a membership-based program, so there is some restrictions on that, but it's a really great community of people that are trying to prevent food waste and also, looking to get discount food.
Yeah. You've touched on this, but how do we wind up with so much surplus food?
Yeah, it is crazy to see. Once you come into the Food Stash warehouse and you see how much food waste there is, it can be quite shocking. But for us, a lot of things can happen along the way that lead to surplus food. And so maybe there's some apples with some slight bruising that are no longer going to sell on the shelves. And so we'll grab those, and they're oftentimes perfectly good, just cutting off a little bruise, and it's still perfectly fine to eat. Some grocery stores have over-ordered stuff. A lot of the time, we get a lot of food leading up to the holidays because the grocery stores are over ordering because they're anticipating a lot of food needs, and sometimes it doesn't come to fruition. And so we pick up that extra food. And then best before dates as well. So a lot of us are trained to see a best before date and be like, oh no, the yogurt's gone bad. Like I can't eat this. And so we pick up a lot of dairy and protein that is oftentimes past the best before date, but is still perfectly fine to use. We pick up protein that has been frozen on the best before date. And so we keep that frozen, and then our members can defrost it on
a later date,
when they're ready to use it. And then our dairy as well is oftentimes past the best before date, and we have some like internal timetables that we use. And so anything that's like milk is 5 days past, yogurt's 2 weeks, and it's kind of just about keeping the yogurt and the milk at the perfect temperature, and then it will usually stay good. We're obviously always educating our members on, if you open up the yogurt and it smells funky, do not eat it. And that's something that is just changing our mindset to like see that date and be like, okay, I'm going to trust my senses instead of what I see on the milk.
So what do you want people to know about what they can do regarding food waste?
Yeah, I think for us, a big thing is just educating people is if you are going to have food waste, which we all do, making sure it ends up in the compost and not the landfill. You know, Earth Month is coming up, Earth Day rather. And so it is really harmful for our planet when food waste ends up in the landfill because it gets trapped and it can't decompose properly. When it ends up in the compost, it's along with other organic matter and it can decompose and it's perfectly fine for our environment. But when it ends up in the landfill, it gets trapped and it creates methane, which is a really harmful greenhouse gas. So if you are going to have food waste, just make sure it ends up in the compost. It's a really simple habit change that can make a big difference when we're, caring for our planet.
Yeah, so when you guys will hear this podcast, it will be Earth Month. Earth Day will be coming up. And yeah, composting is a great way to lessen your impact on the earth. So can you tell me about your hardest and your best moments in your job?
Yeah, it's really rewarding to work in a place that has a mission that you're like impacting so many people, but also protecting the planet from food waste. I think for me, my hardest and my best kind of go hand in hand of like seeing the people at the market who are like so excited to have this food and so thankful and like have made friends at the market and have, are saying, oh, I'm going to bring this food to my neighbor. And it's really awesome just to see the community that we've built. But then another hard part of my job is that, our programs have a certain capacity and we can't accept everybody who needs food. So it's just turning away people when our programs are at capacity is really hard. But it's oftentimes like trying to find a solution. So referring them to other programs in the city or seeing if we can get them in our market program. But it is tough to turn people away. But then you do see the community that you haven't impacted and you're like, okay, we're doing really good work. And it's great to see the food not go to waste.
Can you tell us how people can get to know a little bit more about food waste? Do you have any resources for them?
Yeah. So we are on all the social media platforms, and I do a lot of what I think is fun content over there, just educating people on what you can do in your house to prevent food waste, whether it's like food waste recipes or how to use your freezer to prevent food waste. So that's a really good follow for people. We're at Food Stash Foundation across lots of social media platforms. And then we also have a monthly newsletter where people can sign up and we give, food waste recipes. We give updates on our work and the impact we're having in the community. And then we also get to share about events that are coming up. So we host some workshops throughout the year and those newsletter subscribers get early access to those workshops. And they're really fun. We've done a fermenting one in the past. We've done a hot sauce workshop and just like teaching people ways that they can reduce food waste at home and like make little differences in their own home.
We'll be sure to put those links in the show notes for the podcast so you guys can all follow Food Stash.
Yeah.
And maybe we have a Modo hot sauce competition in our future.
Oh, that'd be so fun. We did just do a volunteer banana bread bake-off. So they brought home rescued bananas out from Food Stash, made the banana bread. I got to be a judge, actually. So that was really fun. And so we're thinking about doing like in the public one. So if Modo wants to come jump in on that'd be fun.
That would be super fun. We'll be sure to keep in touch.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Now changing lanes. Hey, it's Kelly from the marketing team. Today we're talking all about green memberships. For context, Green Modo members are learners or new drivers who are over 16 with an L or under 19 driving with an N, who are looking to earn more driving hours or pass their exam while working towards getting their full license in the province of BC. For more details, you can check out the FAQs on our website. But today, we're chatting with Esme, a Modo Plus member who started their journey with Modo as a Green member. Hi, Esme. Thanks so much for being here today. Can you introduce yourself and tell us how long you've been a Modo member for?
Absolutely. Hi, Kelly. Thank you so much for having me. I am a fourth-year university student, born and raised in Vancouver, so being a Modo member is very useful to me. I've been a Modo member personally since I was 16 and got my learner's permit, but my family's been a Modo member since 2003, which is when I was born, so my whole life we've only used Modo vehicles. And then I became a Modo Plus member when I turned 19 and had my N. So it's been about 4 years now that I've been a Modo Plus member.
Great. That's very cool that your family's been using Modo since you were born. Yeah, I guess diving a little deeper, you kind of brought it up a little bit since you guys are longtime Modo members, but why did you choose to use Modo while learning to drive? How was that experience for you?
Yeah, so Modo's always been my closest access to a vehicle. We've never owned a vehicle in my family, so it was just the easiest option for me. We've been Modo members just because living in Vancouver, you never really feel a need to own a car per se, because public transportation is so efficient in our city, but having that easily available access to Modo just made driving and learning to drive a lot easier. And I never took the driving school route, so having an informed driver such as my mother, who'd been a Modo member forever, helping me teach me use a car, and then additionally using a Modo car as opposed to any other regular car gave me the ability to sort of learn how multi-cars operate, because they all operate a little differently. So it kind of just helped me learn how cars in general work better as opposed to just a single vehicle.
Right. Yeah, when I learned to drive, I just used my mom's 2003 minivan, and I got so used to that. But since moving to Vancouver and becoming a Modo member, getting to drive a whole variety of vehicles, I feel like I've gotten more comfortable with driving and having more trust in myself that I can operate not just my mom's one single minivan. And yeah, being in Vancouver, I feel like we have access to such great public transportation. It's, in certain parts it's very walkable, very bikeable. And so, yeah, it makes sense that growing up here, you don't necessarily need to own a car to be able to access different parts of the city and BC. So while learning to drive, do you have any fun anecdotes maybe you can share about your experience?
I think fun anecdotes would probably just be learning to drive with my mother in particular being my instructor in the car, and just being in a Modo. We were very comfortable and we used them forever, but of course she's just very nervous about me driving. And the first time I learned to drive was in the IKEA parking lot over in Richmond, and even though there was no one in the parking lot, it was a lot of stop, go, stop. And so it was just really funny because I think she was really just concerned about the car rather than us in it per se.
Yeah, I feel like definitely everyone has a story, especially learning to drive with their parents, of just the parent being so much more nervous than you are, and you're just I think I can do it. I passed my L. Have some trust in me. ICBC does.
Exactly.
Great. Driving all these years with Modo, do you actually have a favorite car to drive that's in the Modo fleet?
Yeah, absolutely. There is a car in my neighborhood, and it's a little Honda, and that is probably my favorite because it's the one that I use the most, so I'm the most comfortable using it, and it's also just really small and fun to zip around.
Yeah.
But I also had the opportunity to try the little red Miata the convertible that's over downtown, which was really fun. I had it for a weekend.
Oh, lovely.
And it was super fun to drive around. It was summer, it had the top down, so that was really fun to just be able to try out that car and sort of have a little fun weekend for the
and not have to own a convertible. It rains so much here.
Exactly. I could just go park it back in the garage and that's done.
Yeah, no, we love that. Yeah, so I guess my final question for you, do you have a favorite trip or memory? Do you have a favorite trip that you've taken in a Modo?
Absolutely. Last summer, I made the bold decision to drive to Calgary.
Oh, nice.
And I was the only driver. It went really well. I took a Modo. It was lovely. And if anyone knows, the drive from BC to Alberta is beautiful.
Oh my gosh, so great, yeah.
Despite me having to concentrate on the road a lot of the time, our pit stops were beautiful.
Nice.
And it was just, Modo just made it so easy. We stopped over in Banff, which was beautiful.
Amazing, yes.
It was summer, so the lake was really clear and pretty. Yeah. And then we also stopped over in Canmore, just outside of Calgary. Yeah, it was so beautiful, and I think that people don't realize a lot of the time that they can use Modos for extended periods of time for trips and stuff, rather than just like daily drives, which is also really useful.
Yeah, no, that is great. Yeah, no, a lot of people will take Modos for like longer trips and stuff. We've definitely had members take the Modos out like past Ontario. We've had some all the way down to like Southern California and stuff like that. And so, yeah, it is really great that you're able to kind of go a lot further places, do some like multi-day road trips, really get out and explore. Very cool. Thank you so much for being here today and sharing your journey as a Modo member and starting off as a Green member.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Now changing lanes. Last up, we have a voice note from Modo Board Director Atia. She shares how you can help maintain the sustainability of our cooperative through voting in the board elections and attending the AGM that's happening on Thursday, April 23rd.
Hi everyone, my name is Atia Jaffer. I'm an outgoing board member, and I'm here to remind you to participate in a democratic process for our co-op. Let me just start by saying the world is not doing okay. There is an escalating cost of living crisis, fuel costs are through the roof, and all through this, mega corporations and billionaires are profiting while the rest of us suffer. That is not okay. And in a moment like this, organizations like Modo are a lifeline. Modo is ensuring that all of the members, all of us, get continuously affordable rates, that the service continues without any disruptions. And Modo does this because we are a values-driven cooperative. And the way that we stay values-driven to serve you, to serve your family, to serve our community is by ensuring that we remain a healthy democracy. That's why I encourage everyone to ensure that you are participating in the democratic process. And that means starting April 6th, make sure that you vote in the board elections, that you review the candidates, and you make an informed choice about who you want governing this organization. So vote in the board elections. And then on April 23rd, we are holding our AGM, which is where you will hear back from the CEO, you'll hear back from the board, and you'll be able to ensure that there is oversight from the members. So really, really encourage you to join. It will be a Zoom meeting online, accessible. You can join from wherever you are. Really encourage everyone to participate in the AGM as well. This is how we keep our co-op healthy. It ensures that we can meet our needs in our communities, that we can get around in an affordable way at a time where so many are struggling to do so. So please, please make sure that you participate in the democratic process. Thanks so much.
Now changing lanes. That's all for our Very Green April episode. As always, thank you for listening. Driven by Community is brought to you in partnership with the Cooperators. Modo members can take full advantage of preferred rates through the Cooperators Member Benefits Program. Check out the Modo Parks page for more details. Driven by Community was edited by Kelly Zhang and produced by Fatima Porsayed and Jane Hope. If you have any feedback or suggestions, we'd love to hear from you. Just email podcast@modo.coop. See you in May, and until then, thanks for sharing.